Choosing the wrong seat on a plane can make a long flight feel even longer, but the right seat can make your journey far more comfortable. In this video, I'll show you the best plane seats for seniors, and a few seats that many travelers regret choosing. Seat number 1, the aisle seat. Imagine sitting in a window seat on a long flight. You need to stretch your legs or stand up for a moment, but the two passengers next to you are asleep. Now you're stuck waiting and feeling cramped. That's where the aisle seat makes a big difference. With an aisle seat, you can stand up, stretch your legs, or walk down the aisle whenever you need to, without climbing over other passengers. For many senior travelers, this simple convenience can make a flight much more comfortable. It also makes it easier to reach your carry-on bag in the overhead bin and speak with flight attendants if you need assistance. The only small downside is that passengers next to you may occasionally need to step past you to get out. But for flexibility and easy movement during a flight, the aisle seat is often one of the most comfortable choices available. And the next seat on our list might surprise you, because it offers more space than most travelers expect. Seat number 2, bulkhead seats. These seats are located at the front of a section of the airplane, directly behind a wall instead of another row of seats. Now imagine sitting down and noticing something different right away. There's no seat directly in front of you, which means you often have more open space to stretch your legs. For many passengers, that extra space can make a long flight feel much more comfortable. It can also be easier to stand up and move around because there isn't another passenger reclining their seat directly into your space. However, bulkhead seats do come with one small trade-off. Because there's no seat in front of you, airlines usually require that all personal items be placed in the overhead bin during takeoff and landing. So you won't be able to keep a small bag at your feet during those moments. But for travelers who value extra space and a more open feeling, bulkhead seats can be a very comfortable choice. And the next seat on our list is popular for a completely different reason. It can make leaving the plane much faster once you arrive at your destination. If you're finding this helpful, feel free to give the video a like. It really helps others find these tips. Seat number 3, seats near the front. Another excellent choice for many senior travelers is simply choosing a seat closer to the front of the aircraft. After a long flight, most passengers are eager to leave the plane and stretch their legs. But if you're seated near the back, you may find yourself waiting several minutes while the entire cabin slowly exits row by row. Now imagine instead being seated just a few rows from the front. When the doors open, you'll be among the first passengers to leave the aircraft. That means less standing in crowded aisles, a quicker walk through the airport, and often a faster trip to baggage claim. For many travelers, especially after a long flight, that small advantage can make the arrival experience far more comfortable. Seats closer to the front can also mean less engine noise compared to seats farther back in the cabin. Our next seat is for those seniors who want the smoothest flight possible. Seat number 4, seats over the wing. If you've ever felt a bit uneasy when the plane hits turbulence, the best place to sit is over the wings, or just slightly in front of them. Here's why. The wings are located near the center of gravity of the aircraft, which means this part of the plane tends to experience less movement during turbulence. Seats near the front and back of the plane usually feel more motion, while the area around the wings stays relatively stable. For passengers who are sensitive to motion, sitting in this section can make the flight feel noticeably smoother. Of course, there is one small trade-off. If you choose a window seat over the wing itself may block much of the view outside. But for travelers who prioritize a smoother and more comfortable ride, this area of the plane can be one of the best places to sit. However, not every seat on a plane offers the same level of comfort. In fact, there are a few seats that experienced travelers try to avoid whenever possible, and one of them might surprise you. Number 1, the last row. Imagine finally settling into your seat for a long flight. only to discover something frustrating. When the passenger in front of you reclines their seat, you try to lean back as well, but your seat barely moves. That's often what happens in the very last row of the plane. Because there is usually a wall directly behind these seats, the ability to recline is often very limited, or sometimes not possible at all. But that's not the only downside. Seats in the last row are often located close to the lavatories and the galley where flight attendants prepare food and drinks. That means more foot traffic, more noise, and sometimes passengers standing nearby while waiting for the restroom. After a long flight, another disadvantage becomes clear. Passengers seated in the back of the plane are usually the last to exit, which can mean waiting several extra minutes before leaving the aircraft. For travelers who value comfort and a quiet environment, the last row is often one of the least desirable places to sit. And the next seat on our list may seem like a great choice at first, but it comes with a few surprising drawbacks that many travelers don't expect. Number 2, standard exit row seats. At first glance, exit row seats often look like some of the best seats on the plane. They usually offer extra legroom, which can seem very appealing, especially on longer flights. But these seats also come with a few important responsibilities that many travelers don't realize. Passengers sitting in an exit row must be physically able and willing to assist in an emergency evacuation. That could involve helping open the emergency exit door or assisting other passengers. Because of this requirement, flight attendants may ask several questions before allowing passengers to sit in these seats. In some cases, travelers may even be moved to another seat if the crew determines they cannot safely perform these duties. There are also a few comfort trade-offs. Exit row seats often have fixed armrests, which can make the seat slightly narrower than other seats. And because the tray tables are usually stored inside the armrests, they can feel a little less spacious. For some passengers, the extra legroom is still worth it. But for many senior travelers who simply want a relaxed and comfortable journey, there are often better seating options available. And there's one more seat location that many travelers underestimate, and it can affect both comfort and the overall flight experience. Number 3, seats near the lavatories. There's one more seat location that many travelers underestimate, and it can affect the comfort of your entire flight. Seats located near the lavatories may seem convenient at first. After all, the restroom is only a few steps away. But during a flight, this area of the cabin often becomes one of the busiest places on the plane. Passengers frequently line up in the aisle while waiting for the restroom, which can create constant movement and foot traffic nearby. You may also hear the restroom doors opening and closing, the flushing sounds, and conversations from passengers standing close to your seat. For travelers who are hoping to relax or sleep during the flight, this activity can quickly become distracting. For a quieter and more comfortable journey, many travelers prefer choosing seats a little farther away from the lavatories and galley areas. Choosing the right seat on a plane can make a surprising difference in how comfortable your entire journey feels. By selecting seats that offer easy access, more space, and less noise, you can make flying far more enjoyable. And if you're preparing for your next trip, make sure to also watch my video on 7 travel tips seniors should know for a comfortable flight. It's packed with simple tips that can make your travel day much easier.